I entered the final level with almost 5 minutes to spare. I just needed to beat the back alley, and the glitched attraction any % world record would be mine. I began to assemble the projection, the final task in the game, when suddenly I heard a noise.
We're dead? We're dead.
Molten Freddy had killed me, and at the very final moments of the run, I still had a chance to take the world record, but it was going to be very, very close. The glitched attraction is perhaps the most impressive Five Nights at Freddy's fan game ever made. It's a series of free-roaming first-person escape rooms that require the player to use their wit, cunning, and bravery to escape. The first time I played the game, it took me over 7 hours to complete. I had to both solve the puzzles as well as execute them. Now though, I knew all the puzzles and mechanics. The only thing standing between me and the glitched attraction speedrun world record was, well, the fact that the game was actually really hard.
Get back,
Oh, me. That was very unfortunate.
There are major skips, exploits, and even run-ending RNG where bad luck can cause you to lose any chance of getting a good time. Hope, despair, anger, hatred. This is the story of how I became the greatest FNAF fan game player in the world. And you can be the greatest YouTube viewer if you just subscribe to my channel right now. The game begins with a cutscene which can be skipped in the latest version of the game. After listening through the robot shtick, we give up our belongings, grab the flashlight, and press the vent button. While waiting for the duct to open, we glance at Bonnie to see if he nods his head approvingly. If he does, the run is blessed, and we will have good luck. However, if Bonnie shakes his head no or looks at you disapprovingly, it means your run is cursed, and it's very unlikely that you'll do well. On this particular run, Bonnie shook his head disapprovingly, cursing us to bad luck. Regardless, I pressed onward into the bedroom. Our first task was to locate the 2 keys, which can be in any of the room's 8 drawers. I got pretty lucky and found them quickly, unlocking the missing piece from the wall puzzle. I began to unscramble it when I heard the puppet approaching. To avoid the puppet, you need to hide in the golden Freddy suit, which obviously loses time. Most of the time I'm able to beat the level with the puppet only attacking once, but on very lucky attempts I've gotten through without any puppet attacks at all, or puppetless as us speedrunners call it. Solving the puzzle reveals the code to the safe, which yields a hammer. We can use this to pry the nails off the boards on the closet and escape.
Take it. We'll take it. It's all good. Yeah, it's fine. Totally fine.
The next level is themed after FNAF 2 and features toy animatronics. In the first phase, we need to find pieces of a code randomly distributed around the level and put it into this keypad. However, Chica is patrolling the hallways in a circuit and she randomly changes directions. Furthermore, Mangle is hiding in the vents, and when you hear him approach, you need to get away as quickly as possible. After you punch the code in, you unlock a checkpoint inside the breaker room. However, there's a gate in front of it and it takes forever to open. We remove loading screens from our final time, so it's fastest to just pause and switch the difficulty to casual right after you put the code in. This will skip the door opening animation and immediately start the next sequence, the gears. At the start of this section, Freddy's music activates. If it ever winds down, causing the music to stop, Freddy will smash the glass and camp the breaker room, which usually results in your death. You can wind it back up manually, but overwinding it will also cause Freddy to break out. Thankfully, if you play this section well and collect the gears quickly enough, you shouldn't ever need to wind up Freddy's music box. The location of the gears, Chica, and Mangle are all random, so you need to adapt to what you're given. Stamina management is actually really important in this section. You will run out if you try to sprint the whole time. After getting all the gears and unlocking the door, we enter Cursed, the FNAF 3 level. Immediately, we find the code to unlock the Faz coin, which allows us to play a simple recreation of FNAF World. We need to complete the arcade to escape the room, but Springtrap and Dreadbear are trying to get into the office. Ideally, we're able to beat the entire arcade game without ever having to stop and hide from one of them, but in practice, this is very rare. In this run, I got lucky, and the only attack was one of the faster ones, enabling me to quickly finish the arcade. Reaching this point forcibly resets the animatronics back to the center room, so even if you're moments away from being attacked, if you can just finish the arcade game, you'll be okay. After that, it's pretty straightforward. Get the code from the arcade, use it to get the key, and escape the room.
3, 2, 1.
Nice. Yeah, we'll probably be like just about even after this. Maybe even a little ahead. We're gonna be a little ahead, wow.
Get back, Zelda!
Fun Times is an interesting level because no matter how unlucky you get, you shouldn't die.
Oh, fuck me. That was very unfortunate.
Zap Ballora, play Bonbon's tape periodically to calm down Freddy, check Foxy whenever you hear the hacking noise, and zap them whenever they're freaking out. It's pretty straightforward. We try to multitask as much as possible and always have one of Circus Baby's limbs on the way. There's no real secret to the actual puzzles though. We just sort of wing it every time and hope we get it quickly. If you run quickly enough after beating the level, you can actually get around these working Joes. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to in this run, causing me to lose a couple of seconds. Make sure to manage your sprint as well. It's easy to run out on the way to the elevator. Speaking of the elevator, upon reaching it and pressing the button, we pause the game and switch the difficulty back to normal. This will skip the entire sequence, saving a lot of time. From here, we navigate through the maze, but right as we near the end, we start to hold the X key. For some reason, this allows you to skip a cutscene that you haven't started yet, warping you to the start of the next level. I'm not sure why this works, but it does, and it saves a couple seconds. Lost Media is the worst level in the game, and it's where runs come to die. Ennard has hawk eyes and can spot you from across the room. He runs just as fast as you, but he has infinite stamina and his AI is vicious. He constantly homes in on your position, and he'll even cut you off and flank you and stuff. It's kind of insane. Our first task is to find the crowbar, which spawns on a random desk in the warehouse. You really need to just get lucky here and find it quickly. Thankfully, on this run, I was able to locate it shortly after the level began and right on the path to our next destination, John's desk. Thankfully, John's desk is always in the same spot, and upon opening it up with the crowbar, we get the key card. From here, we need to sprint to this door, use the card, and activate the generator, which triggers a much needed checkpoint. Unfortunately, this is where the true nightmare begins. We need to insert 3 specific batteries into 3 separate generators, and you guessed it, it's all random. You just need to be quick and spot the correct batteries. All the while, Ennard is stalking you, and if he does spot you, your only real hope is to find a pallet to pull down and create some distance between the two of you. Somehow, I managed to find all the correct batteries quickly enough, escaping the nightmare hellhole that is Lost Media in record time.
Holy shit. This is world record pace. Easily. Easily.
I entered the final level over 4.5 minutes ahead of my previous personal best time. I was on world record pace. I just needed to finish this one level and I had it. We start by activating Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Sim. In this arcade minigame, we play as Freddy Fazbear as he attempts to murder a bunch of children by hurling pizza at them. Whenever he runs out of pizzas to attack with, we leave the arcade and begin looking for pieces of the code. We only need 2 of the 3 code pieces, and we enter them in between rounds of massacring children with pizzas. Sometimes, Scrap Baby will approach from the woods behind the fence, but she's easily dealt with using the rappel thing.
Get your ass out of my house.
You could even leave it on the whole time, but I don't because it makes an annoying noise. Occasionally, Molten Freddy will start climbing through the vents, forcing you to use a strobe to push him back. Ideally, we'd get through this whole section without either of them attacking us, but it's not so bad if they do. It doesn't lose that much time. Springtrap will leave his desk and attack every few minutes. You're supposed to shut the door when he does and lure him back to his desk, but this is really slow. It can lose like a minute. Instead, after we complete the arcade game, unlock the projector room, and grab the coin, we once again switch the difficulty to casual. This reloads the level, starting us off with the coin, but resetting Springtrap's attack timer. We insert the coin into Rockstar Freddy, press the buttons, and get the projection scraps. You can use these scraps to clip over the fence and walk to the end of the level, and in earlier versions of the game, it just worked. However, the latest version checks to make sure that you've actually beaten the level, and if you haven't, it calls you a cheater and refuses to let you progress. Instead, we need to assemble the projection scraps and pull this switch. Unfortunately, all of the animatronics are still threatening us, and we have no way to see when someone is coming. Thankfully, the projection room has a motion detector, but it often goes off when nobody is there. Furthermore, when someone is there, the motion detector triggers really early, and you have to sit outside for a few seconds before you can definitively say that it was a false alarm. Unfortunately, sometimes the projector just doesn't go off, or it goes off during the few moments that you're in the other room dealing with Freddy. I didn't hear any alarms, but as I finished assembling the projection, I heard a horrible noise.
We're dead. We're dead. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We can still world record.
Molten Freddy had killed me, and at the very final moments of the run. A part of me wanted to reset right then and there, but I knew I had to try one more time. It was going to be very, very close, but I still had a chance to take the world record. I hit retry and composed myself. I began to reassemble the paper, and I was doing well when suddenly I heard the alarm go off. I dealt with the animatronics outside and turned rappel on my way back in, just in case Scrap Baby showed up. As I finished assembling the projection, the motion sensor went off again. I didn't think I had arranged the projection neatly enough for Helpy to approve, but there was no reason not to pull the lever and try when I went to check outside. Sure enough, my Lord Helpy was pleased, and he unlocked the secret room. I grabbed the bolt cutters from inside and began to run to the fence when suddenly I heard Molten Freddy clambering through the vents. I didn't have time to flash him, but if I didn't, there was a good chance I'd run out of stamina on the way to the end of the level. Molten Freddy might catch me. Regardless, I had to risk it. I ignored the amalgamation behind me, cut the chains, and ran.
No. He's coming through the vent right now. He might get us.
Somehow, I reached the end safely. Panting, I used the last of my stamina as I entered Vanny's bunker and I reached the computer. From here, it's just a matter of waiting until the alert pops up and Vanny knocks you unconscious. I walked through memories and completed the run with a final time of 23:01. I'm really not a speedrunner, and while I've done speedruns before, they were usually either meme runs like FNAF 1 or games like Poppy Playtime where I knew I'd never be competitive. With this in mind, I'm actually really proud of my Glitched Attraction speedrun. It's actually a really cool speed game, and I worked really hard to get a good time. I never imagined I'd be in contention for the world record, and I've had a lot of fun speedrunning the game. The coolest part is, I know there's still so much time to save. Sub 21 minutes is definitely possible, probably sub 20 minutes, and I can't wait to see how the run evolves in the future. You can download the Glitched Attraction for free on GameJolt right now. It's seriously the most impressive FNAF fan game I've ever seen. It's straight up what Security Breach should have been. If I'd paid $20 for this game, I'd think it was totally worth it, and if you like it, consider giving the speedrun a try. While I'm telling you to do things, I should also remind you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell, and like the video, and comment. Thanks so much for watching.